In this episode, we're going to walk you through the AI go-to-market tech stack that's going to give you an unfair advantage in growing your business.
Well, obviously everybody's using ChatGPT because I'm saving time. That time goes into doing more sales calls, and more sales calls, I make more money. That's fundamentally the way that I look at it, right? I think the one that I leverage a lot, especially when it comes to go-to-market, outreach, emails, etc. Love.
In this episode, we're going to walk you through the AI go-to-market tech stack that's going to give you an unfair advantage in growing your business. If you stick around to the end of this episode, we're going to give a full master ChatGPT prompt that you can use to deliver your go-to-market tech stack. Louis, let's talk about some of the tools we use, but also what we've seen others use to help give them an unfair advantage in the AI world.
Well, obviously everybody's using ChatGPT, right? So I think that's definitely a tool. We use it every day. We've created our own GPTs, right? We've created our own versions of for different parts of our sales process. I think the one that I leverage a lot, especially when it comes to go-to-market, outreach, emails, etc. Love Lavender, right? And Lavender's it's got the grading tool. It'll help build emails. It'll assess your emails. It's fantastic, right?
So for those who haven't experienced Lavender, it's a Gmail plugin. Sits in your browser, scores your emails based on readability, deliverability as well, across the millions of emails that go out and what they see work. It is a slick tool.
Yeah. The next one, so that's we're looking at ChatGPT. It's obviously become an essential part of my team. Let's talk about from a team perspective. Yeah, it's adding an assistant that can help me with a whole range of things.
Let's build off that, right? Yeah. As an individual, even if I'm a sales rep, founder, we're talking here about building out your team of tools that you would use daily. Yeah, I love that.
And I've got it. I've got my, I've created a LinkedIn GPT for myself that's going to help me do my LinkedIn posts. I fed it hundreds and hundreds of posts from myself, from others. It knows my tone. It basically helps me create my posts faster. I've even created my own sales coach, right, for various parts of my own sales process, where it's called Luigi Sales Coach. So you're gonna laugh at this, right? But it's so effective because I can take my transcript from my meetings that's recorded. I can pop it in there and it knows exactly how, based on the frameworks that I've built in the back end, how to create my post-meeting notes because I have a certain structure according to my sales process. It even helped me write my proposal. So this is something that it's not replacing the activity, Dave. It's just making it easier and it's making me faster in developing it. And then I have to go in and there's things that you need to change, but I'm probably saving 75 to 80% of the time that I would spend post a sales call, for example, pre-meeting research. So if we think about the amount of time, and going back a step, what often impacts a salesperson's ability to produce their result? We know, and there's some data that shows about 30 to 40% of their day is spent selling. The rest is admin. So if we can reduce that time, it's important, right? Doing post-meeting notes, critical. Preparing for a call, critical. Doing a proposal, critical. If you can speed that process and you can gain an extra 5 or 10% from an efficiency perspective per week, that's more customers you talk to, or more prospects, more meetings, more proposals, more sales. Very simple, right? Yeah. So from my perspective, they're the key tools that we're using, and we're introducing another tool called Call Aiden, which is helping us with pre-qualification calls. We're actually going to build our own outreach, and we did it for our book launch, Dave. It was calling people, inviting, cold prospects. We were testing it, and it worked. Yeah. So these are some of the tools that we're using in our business.
Yeah, and full disclosure, this is a tool that we've invested in.
Yep.
We're not here just promoting everything else. We put our money where our mouth is, and we're actually trying to be on the cutting edge of building, the next platform that can help, individuals and founders out there. I'll talk about my sort of 3 tools as well. So one that I love and I use daily, it's called Voice Notes. It's a tool that allows you to record any note that you might have, any meeting that you might have as well. And the great thing is I can converse with it. So I can ask it, what have been the top things that I've been talking about over the last month? create a LinkedIn post about subject X, Y, and Z, and it's becoming like my second brain, which is really good.
I didn't know you had a first brain. Sorry, you went there. You opened the door, Dave.
Yeah, I'm not fast enough to come up with a comeback for that one yet, but I'll hit you later.
See how quick that was? That was a good one. Grace will like that. Grace is Dave's wife. She'll love that comment.
The better half.
It's going to go in our family chat.
To extend on your ChatGPT one here, so what I've done and what I do every quarter as a bit of a reminder, I've created like a mega prompt where I've given it my whole life story, right? So I have a conversation with ChatGPT from when I was born, my school life, my education, all the businesses I've been involved with, and the ups and downs. And the reason why I do that is that when I want to create a post, I want it to draw upon personal experiences. So basically this, personal prompt knows more about me than anyone in my life. And what I do is I set a reminder in my calendar. Again, we're avid people on blocking our time in your calendar to do important tasks. So I've got a quarterly task that goes for 5 minutes that says, update my prompt with anything notable that's happened over the last 12 weeks.
That's pretty good.
So it's always up to date. Yeah, it's got a lot of abuse about you, right? So it's great. So that's tool number 2. The other tool that I absolutely love, again too, is Loom, right? So Loom's been around for ages. Our dear local friends at Atlassian have acquired it over the last few years, and it is a slick tool for not just recording any sort of quick videos and content, but there's a lot of AI that not a lot of people know built behind it. It does your basic transcriptions and things like that, but there is a lot more that you can do to contextualize it for the people that you're sending it to. So they're the 3 that I've come up with and use day to day, right? And I think let's talk about the cost of all this, Louis, right? Because there's always needs to be a cost benefit. Do you want to talk about, how you evaluate, the cost before you engage and use another tool?
Yeah, well, I've always justified, like I'll give you an example. When I first started using Lucia, right, it was probably the early data enrichment tool in APAC. When I first found it, reality was the minute I landed my first deal, I've never looked back. I didn't even know what we pay, Dave. And I don't care. I don't care what we pay for it because it's paid itself 100 times over. So I look at this sort of stuff a little bit. It's like Sales Navigator, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I think it's pretty expensive now. What is it, 150, 200 bucks a month?
Yeah, it's getting up there.
But again, because it's part of my stack that I've integrated Lucia with, for example, it's pushing straight into our CRM when we're building our lists. One deal, I'm done. It's paid for the tool. So I kind of don't look at it as a cost anymore. It's just become part of my kit, right? And we talk about that. Yeah, it's like a tradesman going to do a job. They have their tools of their trade. These have become our tools of our trade, right? But when I evaluate cost of and again, I'm going to flip it to investment. Again, I look at Lavender. I can write the email. I'm not going to say as good as Lavender, even though I can get it when I get in there for the first draft. It's usually already at 89 to 90, right?
If it doesn't have a spelling mistake, I know you've used AI.
Well, that's right. It's usually pretty good. I feel pretty good when I put the email in there because it's already high because I know the structure. But what it then does for me, it speeds up the process to fix it. Yeah, I'm saving time. For me, that's a big one. I go, time is precious. So if I can save time writing my emails, if I can save time, like you said, with transcriptions, popping things into ChatGPT, the cost is not relevant because I'm saving time. That time goes into doing more sales calls, and more sales calls, I make more money. That's fundamentally the way that I look at it, right? Yes, have we tested tools that we didn't get really? There was a tool, we won't name the tool. It helped from a intent data, building lists. It was very complicated and we both struggled to use it. So yes, the benefit for organizations is there, but you kind of needed a degree to work the platform. So we didn't use it. So I like to look at things from 2 lenses. Yes, price is important, but will it save me time and is it easy to use?
Yeah. No, I'll name the tool. Right? Because we need to tell people, what to look out for.
You can't. He was on our show.
No. Oh, yeah, fuck. I wasn't going to mention that one. I was going to mention a different one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cut that.
No. VJ, cut that little section out there. I'm just going to restate that again. I think it's important, Louis, to mention the tools that we've tried and also struggled with, not just the successes. And I'm sure they're improving things, but the tool that we tried was called Ocean.
Yeah.
And while they generated the list for us, it wasn't able to then provide us with the enrichment that we required. So then we had to export, use another tool, use additional credits and funding. So this is where we're talking about tech stack bloating when there's too many tools. I'm anti that. Like I've got a bit of a process, which you've noticed and seen, that within our AirWallets account, I'll spin up a separate credit card for every service. And I do that as a painful mechanism for me, where if I'm going to use this tool, it needs to warrant the time to then set up its own card. And if I want to shut it down, it's easier for me to do so.
But I think you've hit the nail on the head, right? Like you should be assessing, you don't want that tech stack bloat. At the end of the day, from a business ownership perspective, if we're running a business or if you're an individual contributor, there are X amount of tools that you need. Let's be honest. Like you don't need 100 tools, right? Unless you're running an enterprise grade Salesforce environment and you've got a whole lot of things connected to your system. Fundamentally, the key things are, if you look at top of funnel, right? Sales Navigator, really important because you need to build your lists, and it's a great way to get a very segmented list, have some sort of data enrichment tool connected to it, got your cold email tool that's going to help you build out your cadence, right? If you got those, and then you've got ChatGPT, which is the ultimate time saver for once you've got that conversation, just those 4 tools alone, yes, your CRM is critical, but those tools, adding Loom because you want to add some video prospecting to your process, you got enough, right? And there's probably $300 to $400 in that stack there. You go, well, that's a lot of money, but depending on what your deal size is, that could be a quarter of a deal, right? That could be a quarter of your commission check for 1 month.
And just on those enrichment tools, I'll give those listening and watching 3 options to look at that we've used and still use. So one is obviously Lucia.
Yep.
The other one is Full Enrich. So I'll say that again, Full Enrich. And for those locally in APAC, there's another one called Firmable. So there are 3 tools that you can use to enrich your list. So now I'm going to walk through the AI prompt. I'm going to give a high-level overview. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it is quite meaty. If I look at it, it's probably around 800-word prompt. So it is very detailed, but like anything, good inputs will give you great outputs. So I'm going to give you the high level, and then if you visit growforum.io/growth AI, you'll be able to get this prompt and copy and paste it into your workflow. So the high level. I need you to create a comprehensive AI augmented go-to-market tech stack audit and implementation plan for my business. And then in brackets, it's your specific business that you're going to put in, the industry. And then it's got company that sells. Again, you're putting in the brief description of the product and service that you sell. 2, specific target audience. Again, detail about the audience that you serve. Then the context. You're going to give it your company size, the annual revenue, your growth targets, your current tech stack, your annual tech spend, and the major pain points in your current go-to-market process, and any technical expertise that you have in-house, good or bad. Then you're going to look at your data quality assessment, so it's going to do that, and integration status. How well can you integrate these tools? Now on the deliverables that you're going to get. You're going to request this, and this is the output that you're going to get. You're going to get a tech stack audit framework, an ROI calculation based on the existing tools and then what these new tools are going to cost, the gap analysis, the AI opportunity map. So it's going to outline specific AI integration opportunities for your business, some quick wins, some medium-term opportunities, and then longer-term strategic opportunities that you should think about. Then it's going to bring up a vendor selection framework. So the top 3 vendors that you should be looking at for each of these items, an implementation roadmap strategy based on short-term, long-term, and mid-term priorities, an integration architecture of what you need to have in place in order to get this over the line, and then an ROI projected model in case you need to present this to someone higher up or if you just need to appease yourself as to is it worth doing this project. Then you're going to give it a range of constraints. So you can put a budget constraint, time constraint. You might want to put 2 days to this effort, or it might be 2 months. Each one of those variations of time will give you a different output. Then you're going to ask it for the format, right? So you can put this into a Gantt chart, an Excel spreadsheet with timing, so you can get a full roadmap within this one prompt. So visit growforum.io/growth AI to get this prompt and give it a test today.